All right, so we just saw a video from World Class Bullshitters, the Toy Collecting's 2025 Crisis, What's Killing the Hobby. We should probably put a link in the description if you want to see it for yourself, but...
They already got 18,000 views. They're fine. They don't need it.
It was just a day ago, too.
They're fine. They'll make it.
But this is what has prompted us.
Yes, our response.
I mean, because we had started talking and we said, you know what, let's record this because it's okay.
I hate the new word. It's sort of like toy collecting culture. Then go suck a dick. I'm not going to use that word. Fuck off.
You just did though.
No, the other word as an example, not as in.
No, but I mean.
In parlance. What the fuck is the new word?
Well, there was the toy collecting culture, but no, kidults.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, kidults is the new term for, adult toy collectors, basically.
Fuck you.
That
sounds so fucking retarded.
And I mean, they actually market to these kidults. They put out these overpriced, expensive collector's item toys.
And then when nobody buys them, and then they're stuck with all this inventory that they can't move. Then what are they going to... Then it's their fault because they didn't fucking market it to the correct people. Right. Or just for kids. And if the adults that want to play with the toys too, fuck. But you got speculators and you got gougers in the companies making this shit. Oh, let's screw them. Fucking HasLab is a perfect example of screwing the adult collector.
Yeah. Because, I mean, a lot of times all they're doing is just repurposing and repackaging previous designs with a new logo or whatever and expecting to buy another one.
Or a repaint.
Or some, yeah.
Some new molding on, like,
oh, it's got new hands, interchangeable hands.
Yeah.
The rest of it is no different from the rest of it or whatever. And it's just, expect you to buy another one. And you know what? If you're a collector...
It's gotta bring the fucking ruckus for me to be interested to begin with. Or it's gotta be something...
It's just gotta be something cool that you're personally...
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I gotta have one of those.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those that you're into or whatever.
When I just got one... Now I have two. The robots from the black hole, the red ones.
Right.
And if I decide to and I've been buying European Transformers from the 90s, and if I decide to, I'm going to buy the cloaked figure from Black Hole, but I don't know if I want to spend $200 on a 3 3/4 scale figure.
Right. And he did talk about the market itself and how... And I don't know if this is toy collecting so much as it's just people buying toys in general.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten so fucking pricey that a lot of stores are reducing their toy shelves. And so some of the stuff is not available at your local market. So you got to go online for it. And the online sellers are overpricing and marking toys up.
Don't companies have to rent space in these stores?
I don't know about that so much.
I believe so.
Hasbro actually rents a space in the store?
Yeah, or they get so much cubic area. Yeah.
Only?
They get so much cubic area, and they,
well, maybe some big companies, but still.
That's why usually it's hard to get into the toy field, and why, like McFarlane in the beginning, how it was relegated to, I'm just saying that they're doing it to themselves, and then look, it's because the toy companies, it's because the big retail stores don't want us to be in their stores. No, it's because you're not paying, because your product's not popular, and therefore they don't want to waste the space, and you don't want to waste the money if you're not making that money. So it's cyclical. It's a fucking circular argument. Don't fucking say it's somebody else's fault when it's yours, Hasbro.
Right. Yeah, because they keep putting out these
shit toys.
I mean,
repaints,
Transformers, G.I. Joe, they're like $25-$30.
Yeah, who wants that?
Suggested retail out of the just right out of the chute.
Or the umpteenth number fucking Boba Fett.
It's almost like, because when things hit the secondary market, if something becomes valuable, like in the secondary market,
it's usually because it's rare or it's super popular.
Yeah.
In the before times, yeah.
But the manufacturer of that product doesn't see any of that secondary market money.
And that's also what Hasbro and these other companies are trying to get
So
into.
it seems like they're trying to get secondary market money in the primary market.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
They're marking up the price of the toys to maximize their profit on the initial sale, which is not how it should be. You know, I mean, as long as they make the money they need to make on the product. And all that is all predetermined, whatever. Okay, so it's going to cost us this much. We're going to need to make this much off of it to make the money we need to make to continue operating.
Yeah.
And that's what drives the suggested retail price, or even the wholesale, because that's what they're getting out of it. Yeah. The wholesale, they don't even see any of the retail markup.
Yeah.
So the retailer sees that.
Yeah. So that's the game, kids. That's the one you played for 1,000 years, and now you don't like it.
And it's no different from any other collector's market. Or like they act like, oh, the toy collector's market is some like unique thing,
or like clothing, or food, or
baseball cards, comic books, sports memorabilia, whatever it is.
Comic books are fucking $8 a pop now for 3-4 pages.
Ridiculous, and I mean, so you get a comic book for $1 off the shelf, and it turns into $100 comic.
Well, like you were saying,
the publisher got the money they needed from the initial sale.
Yeah,
and whatever you get in the secondary market is it.
Well, it
shouldn't matter to them. It didn't used to matter to them.
And it's like you said about the death of Superman. One comic book store in the town.
The guy here in town, he was marking it up to $10 the day it hit.
Now, Jeff, the other place,
which is not ethical.
I was at school, so I couldn't get it because I wanted to stay off school to go get my comic book. And my mother said, "No, I'll get it." So she goes in. What was it called? Quest? No, was it Quest, or what was Jeff's place called? Anyway.
Oh, I forget. But
so she goes in there, and there's 2 of them. She takes both of them, the last 2. And Jeff goes, "No, you always get one at a time." She goes, "Look, you've got 2. I've got the money for 2, so you're selling both of them to me." That's how I got 2.
Right. Oh, no, I'm perfectly within their rights to limit 1 per customer because they only have so many.
Yeah.
And they want more of their customers to have access to it. I get that part.
But those were the last 2. So, yeah.
I mean, I had my own comic shop, man. I had to sell off my last copy of the Punisher #1, the Garth Ennis, when it came out, that I wanted to keep for me because somebody came in looking for it. And I gave it to him for cover price because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You're like ethically obligated as a retailer to, or at least in comics. I know ethics.
First of all, so when Michael Turner died, he had done a X-Men 300 or 400 or 500 cover. And everybody was waiting for it because he had died, but it was already printed and ready to roll out. And fucking gets to Modesto, $500. And what the fuck?
But no, I mean, you should give your customers access to anything that comes out at issue price for at least a month. Until the next issue hits, and then you put it in your back issue box and mark it up. You shouldn't mark it up until the next issue hits, or at least give them a week or 2. And if the thing starts to skyrocket, sell it on eBay. Don't just mark it up in your own store and gouge your own customers for it. You want to keep your customers happy, keep them coming back. Long term.
No, they don't.
Short-term gains over long-term revenue.
No, they've all become Ferengi, and they all think they know what the fuck they're doing with these short-term quarterly profits.
Right.
And then your store is open for 6 months, and then you're dying.
And then you shoot yourself in the foot. Yes, because they don't come back.
Because look at what's going on with Hasbro. They're dead in the fucking water.
Right. And why? Because they keep reissuing all this shit that...
Yeah.
And relying on nostalgia...
Yeah.
For one, and intellectual properties based, IP based,
not
products.
New stuff,
not new stuff, but and it used to be
because really, folks, how many fucking Boba Fetts do you actually need?
Right.
I mean, I've got too many. I've got 15, 16 of
different ones.
No, of the 12-inch doll. I have 2 or 3 complete, and the rest of them I'm going to paint, going to modify. Why? Because I can. I don't need to have everything complete. And it's going to sell. I don't care about that. That day, it's like Luthen's speech. That day's never going to happen for me. So I want to enjoy it while I have it. And if I turn one into the white Boba Fett from Empire, I'm going to do that. If I turn it into the Christmas special Boba Fett, I'm going to do that too. I don't give a ferret's fornication. I want to enjoy it while I have it.
They overproduce these things to the point where, there's no shortage of them. And that's what drives the secondary market again. The collector's market is supply and demand, So if...
And all these HasLabs...
to a point where they overproduce them, and it gets to a point where everybody who might have interest in one of those already has one or doesn't want it.
And the HasLabs.
And they just go to
hold on, the HasLabs.
Yes.
So I didn't get a Razor Crest because I didn't want one. I didn't want to spend $500 on a vehicle for, I just didn't feel like it.
Right.
Shows up on eBay. I got it for $200.
See?
There we go. Now, it might not have the figure or something, but I don't care. That's not, all that other stuff wasn't important.
And that is where
that's what's going to happen with the Cantina. All the figures are going to disappear, and then they're going to left with these sets that they don't want. And then, how are we going to get rid of them? Well, there's going to be people like me that'll sit on eBay and wait for it, and I'm going to get a deal.
Right. And, limited editions are not a new thing. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
One of 1,000 or one of 1,500, whatever.
Now I have a story about that.
And then you have your general release of the same thing, but if you want that collector's edition one, there's only 1,000 of them, and you know that.
And they say, oh, well, if it says collector's edition, that means it's not worth anything. That's what my dad told me when Tapestry Picard came out.
Oh, no.
There was 3 of them at Walmart. He didn't get one of them. And then a couple months later, I show him, look, see.
Ugh. But still.
That was 17. There was only 1701 made.
Right.
Yeah.
That's different from just slapping collector's edition on the packaging.
But they put collector's edition on the goddamn
out hundreds of thousands of them, right?
But so it's a gamble. Whatever.
Well, it is.
But you got to like the product, not just trying to be a fucking speculator. I hate speculators. I hate speculators in comic books, in toys. Speculators have destroyed the fucking market. And the companies have destroyed the market. Marvel, DC. I was at a comic book show a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. And this couple, normies, you could totally, just tell. They come up to this guy and, oh, well, we're looking for this book. The one where Pepper Potts gets the rescue armor.
Yeah.
And he goes, whoa, that one could be worth something when the movie comes out. Could be.
Right.
You can't sell, if you want to sell on what could be, maybe, that's, oh my God, that is such a fucked up way to think. Because it's not going to happen that way. Maybe, ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, kids. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I had to ask them, I said, what do you want that book for? Oh, well, oh, I've got 2 of those. I don't give a who cares?
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever. I had a reading copy and then a keeping copy.
Yep.
Just so I can have a set that's complete.
Oh, no, I did. I've been there and done that. I bought multiple copies of a given book because, for one, I think it might be worth the investment. And for another, I want my reading copy. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to put this one away. I still have a first print, Dark Knight Returns, 1 through 4, pristine, unread, unopened, that I put away. And I had my second copy was my reading copy. And so,
well, I just did the Iron Man set.
But that's a collector's thing.
I did the Iron Man set because
not that I want to sell it.
I actually started at 1 when Garth Ennis did it with Extremis. I started there, so I was like, I want to start the whole set.
Right.
So anyway, let us know what you think about any of this, because
really,
it's just
and the guy, he went into all kinds of stuff like
oh, the tariffs.
Well, that too. That does affect.
That's a dog whistle to fucking liberals to cream themselves. Yeah, fuck.
The numbers and the percentages of the tariffs and how they've increased and how that affects pricing. But in general, the big companies, they're going to absorb that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to pass it on to the consumer.
I would.
So, but it does affect the market because, big companies are absorbing these, but still, toys should be the primary purpose of a toy should be to be played with, not to just leaving it in the box and letting it sit there until it goes up in value. I mean, that should be a small percentage of the toy market as far as the
most of my
people
dad's
buying toys.
extra Star Wars collection came from red tags.
Yeah.
So, right?
I mean, in this video, they showed all kind of red tag stuff.
Yeah, but that's crap. That's actually shit.
Right, but
it's always been peg warmers. There's always been peg warmers, and now you see on eBay, oh, they're $50, $60.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's just, I don't know. I think that it's just sensationalizing something that it's just another marketing trend. It's going to happen. They go up, they go down. That shit happens, and the companies just need to learn how to deal with it and roll with those punches or whatever.
So that's why you don't slab comics or grade toys.
Right. I mean, so what about a graded toy in a box? Ooh, so what?
Let us know what you think. Like, share, subscribe.